We are live. How's it going? Got our beers, and we're gonna talk about some stuff tonight, shall we? See if anybody comes in here. I doubt it. It's 9 o'clock though, right on the nose. So, kitty. So we'll see if anybody comes in here, and then we'll talk. Talking. No, that was dumb, wasn't it? All right. No, that's done. Let's see. Your videos. Hello from the gutter. Let's turn that down. All right. So, how's it going, people? How's it going? Let's do some shout outs here. Cruising with Mike and Jed. Hello. Gary, Yukon, Jason Perry, Salty Pirate, Brian Ludwig, Pigtail, Charles Brandt, Provost Motorsports. How are you, Provost? Marty, KW, Kevin Hessian, how's it going? Overtax in Minnesota, Jose, Witty, Rican Trucker. Elizabeth says hello. Elizabeth, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope to see you soon. Hopefully, Gats. I'm here. You can start over. Just settled down from the lake. Thomas, we just started, man. We just started. We've only been at this like not even 2 minutes. Bob G, what's up? Hey, Bob, I got your number. I meant to send you a text, and we'll chat tomorrow. Word up. Hey, James Best, check it out. We got the beer. We got the beer going. I know it's Saturday night. Why not going anywhere? So, hello, rest of Rican's family, not just Elizabeth. Chucky, what's up? GNC Family Truckin'. Big Rig Radio Network. Jeff, how's it going? Pale Rider TV. All right. It's been an interesting ride so far, right? We've got some interesting rates out there. We've seen rates as low as 53 cents. Can you imagine? And the spread's all over the place. You know, there's a Click and Go app that has a load with a $180 spread. And the only difference is 2 days. One picks up Monday, and the other one picks up Wednesday. So, you know, in the past, I've left money on the table by booking ahead, but booking ahead keeps you rolling, keeps you moving, right? But the spread is so bad on loads that pick up. You know, here it is Saturday night. Unless somebody picks that up tomorrow, they've either got to push the load or I'm getting a phone call, or the person with the lowest bid has the phone call. And so my title is actually a tribute to Overkill. Overkill's got a great album. You know, Hello from the Gutter. And that's kind of how I feel. So, but you know, it's Saturday night. We don't have to talk just trucking. We could talk guitars. We could talk, you know, we could talk anything you want. We'll try to be not so doom and gloom, but reality is here. We've hit bottom. And the question, I mean, you can't get any lower than 53 cents a mile. Come on, right? So I told you guys that this is the time to figure out where your anxieties are and where your strengths need to be strengthened, right? And I think I've got an idea of what I need to do. Eddie, what's up? Grabbing the rum looks like a party. Yeah, I've sworn off the rum, so we can't do that. Be careful with that beer. I might have a few too many last night. So, I hope James Best is having a beer with us tonight. It's bad YouTube doesn't do like that Facebook thing or Instagram where you can have more than two people on. But a welder? No, I've sworn off welding. As much as I love to weld, I hate the industry. Um, Manufacturing industry is tough. There's always that axe looming over you, and everybody. Interesting story. I used to run freight for the company I used to weld for when I was at Transland, and after 2 years of driving a school bus, I went back there to pick up a load, and all the old welders were still there, but they were miserable, and they're working for half the money because the company laid them off and then rehired them through PenMac, one of them employee services. So they got half the pay, no benefits, and basically they could get rid of them anytime they want. And I had had enough of that kind of stuff. But I would love to be like a custom welder for a race shop, or something like that. I'm hanging out in a room with a bunch of burly firemen. The other trucker James Best is jealous. I bet he is. I bet he is. I haven't even thought about trucking all day. So nice and peaceful, right? We went for a hike today at the nature center. Even to look at nature. My wife brought her binoculars with her, and we kind of looked at things. TJ Jones, what's up? Big Road Little Truck. I think I missed you. Ralph Floto. Wish had a beer for Monday. Yes. Very jealous, Yukon. Can you FaceTime me? That's funny. I already won this Sunday load. I have a bid on Monday load also. Big Road, Democrats, aliens, Republicans, we're wearing watches. Sitting Giants is all fire. Did you ever finally get a load out of Virginia there? I know that you had a load that you had to cancel. Are we frozen? I just took your rate per mile on the Sunday load and bid that $4.21 per mile. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Jeff? You talking about me or are you talking about Eddie? And I've done the spot market wrong. I did it wrong. I did it right, but I did it wrong. People that I know, I'll get to the comments here. The people that I know that are doing well right now have good, solid relationships with brokers that don't even post on the low boards. I think that's key. Think about it. If whether you gripe to the president, to OIDA, to the media, like Jeff's call of action that he posted yesterday, there's a lot of turbulence of what brokers are doing. Here's my theory. Most of the brokers that we see posting on DAT 123 truckers, truck stop, a lot of them view the low boards as the last resort and don't ever hit the low board. They still go through a broker, but they don't hit the low boards. And so you've got a bunch of drivers desperate to move, calling brokers that are desperate to move stuff, as cheap as possible. It is literally the scraps of the scraps right now. And where I made my most money was with the relationship I had with a mega broker, but with one individual. It was consistent. It was steady. Now, did I take a hit on a per mile rate here and there? Maybe. Probably left some money on the table. But you run this fine line. Like, there's a load I've got to bid on a Click and Go app. It picks up Monday at 6:30 a.m. And it's a string of 2 loads that go all the way to Thursday. Back, which is what I want. Because I have no confidence of once I get out, will I be able to come back without losing my butt. And then they got the exact, and so the first string, they got another one of those listed separately, and then they got the same exact load, but it picks up Wednesday, delivers Thursday. And the times are worse. And that load is $180 less. So when these brokers say that's all I got in it, it's hard to believe when you see stuff like that, right? And so I can either be proactive and book ahead and lose $180. I could hope that Sunday night I get a phone call and hope that no one underbid me because someone else is desperate because their truck's going to empty out Monday morning. They need something right now. And then on Tuesday, if that Wednesday load isn't covered, guess what? They're going to probably bump that up to, maybe $50. And I'll sit and I'll wait. I'll bid. Next thing you know, someone will outbid me. And they didn't have to wait till the last minute to book that load, but they stretched it for as long as they could. And so a strategy that worked really well for me was 2 strategies. One was the relationship that I had with the particular broker that happened to have a lot of freight under his belt. Even during the dry time, I just found myself deadheading more. The second strategy was booking ahead. Now, at Schneider, I had no problem booking 3 or 4 or 5 ahead. And you got to really know your scheduling when you do that. And at one point, Harold Huffman was helping me in the beginning of my turnaround year that James Best so eloquently talked about in his last live feed. And I found myself having to use this skill set that I had at Schneider by booking 4 or 5 ahead. And that was Harold helping me out. But now, there's almost unprofitable difference in booking ahead. But at the same time, if you book the last minute, you might sit for 2 days anyways. So I evaluate the situation. What could I have done different in the last 6 months? Because the guy that I was using, he left. And that's the other part. The brokerage world is so cutthroat that it's hard to get any kind of continuity, any retention with some of these drivers out here. As a matter of fact, one rep or one brokerage that we use, sorry, my cat just went away. We've gone through 3 guys in the last 3 months. Hold on while I get this cat inside. Whoa. Hey, cat. See the hospital helicopters are doing their thing, full of COVID victims. So I'm having to sit here and evaluate, what do I really do? Now everybody says, well, contract freight's the way to go. Contract freight's the way to go. Right now, contracts have been thrown out the window, and everything's hitting the spot market to a certain degree. Can't negotiate contract freight when the spot market is so cheap right now. Just can't do it. All right, let me go over some comments here. Oh, title said gutter instead of guitar. Dang, says Donnie. I just took your, okay. I read that. I actually found some loads I would do next week. Well, pros, get to work, man, get to work. I'm looking at an out and back load for Monday, says James Best. It's a multi-stopper Snorelord. Our new contractor is near Eddie's area on Sunday. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, from Willie's Pub. Stay out of the gutter. We're getting 485 on 200 miles Sunday and trying to get that 180 miler for 650. The 575 still be good with the early Sunday load. But a lot of times brokers have no longer have that load, right? I'm not a gambler. I'll take the sure thing. And that's kind of how I've been, James Best. It's like waiting to the last minute. The only time that strategy worked for me was when the stores were out of toilet paper and water and people were literally freaking out. And it seemed like every 10 minutes there was a new rumor. Oh, there's martial law. I actually had 2 different people call me, and I had other people call me saying, oh, this is going on, this is going on, making me feel like, man, I need to be home for all this chaos, right? And it never happened. Has it been interesting? Absolutely. But it just shows you what fear can do. But that was the only time that wait until the last minute worked, because the volume was still good. See, when the low volumes are down, you can't wait till the last minute. Unless you get so lucky and you find that guy that the truck broke down and the broker's having to repost it all of a sudden. G-Star, what's up? Truck stops were only 70 full and rest area parking at 11 p.m. last night. Yeah. So the herd is thinning, whether by choice or by no choice. Good morning or good evening, Brent. You have been a while, Brent. The world has changed since you've been gone, Brent. So that Sam Sarah's working awesome with the dash cam. Awesome. Good deal, man. Good deal. Mr. Jeff, I saw where a senator in Michigan was wearing a Confederate flag face mask. Good old boys in Michigan. LOL. Higgins Lake, here I come this week. Absolutely, Jeff. I'm using Sam Sarah since ELD changed. Bidding on Indiana loads. Now Jeff needs to bring me some of the hot dogs in my truck in the morning. So I'm sitting here thinking, what can I do different to improve my business, to improve my situation? And I think I'm going to have to knock on a few doors and ring a few doorbells and make a few phone calls to some of the shippers around here that I do steadily, and see if I can't get my foot in the door. Because at this point, I would settle for consistency over money. Right now, you can't get consistency or money. Usually it's one or the other. You get consistency with a little bit of money, or a lot of gambling with with a lot of money, with no consistency. Article I read said home toilet paper use is actually up about 50% due to stay-at-home orders and schools closed. Septic tank pumping truck's going to be busy soon. That's a lot of crap, John Lee. Toilet paper only accounts for 20% consumer. 20% of toilet paper made is only for the consumer. I found out that my unemployment is on hold. Looks like Tesla may be fighting my unemployment claim. Life just gets better each day. Run some illegal cigarettes in Minnesota? Absolutely not. I refuse to give up this fight. Even if I have to pull just enough freight to pay the truck bills, this will pass. We just need to hang on. Salty, I agree with you, but the problem is sometimes you can't even make enough to pay the bills, right? I've got a buddy of mine that is doing extremely well right now, and I look to him for inspiration. He and I talk all the time, and I've used too much of the click and go apps, which are absolute garbage right now. And I'm not going to name one because it's all of them. And it's funny because I remember another buddy of mine that has his own authority now. When he first entered the spot market after he left Schneider, he said, man, I'm just going to do nothing but Uber. And I said, well, that's great, but you won't have any experience negotiating. And so he used Uber when he could, but for the most part, we started to learn to negotiate, but then he negotiated so well, he's got contract freight now. And I didn't heed my own advice. The majority of 2019, I survived the steady decline of rates through the one person I had at my major brokerage. And between that and 2 click and goes, I did pretty good. Right? Now, sometimes I feel like I'm a decent negotiator. I mean, I'm not calling them all rude. I'm not like, I'm not all rude with them. But at the same time, I don't know. I have trouble like pretending to be their friend when you first get on the phone and all polite because it's kind of fake sounding to me and I hate being that way. But, got to get over that little weakness, right? I faced the same problem years ago. I had second trade. I was lucky, never quit trucking, but back then it was changed to live a better life. I'm not saying this is for everyone. It's a hard life. No toilet paper in Florida. Bought some back from New Jersey. So you think that loads of toilet paper would be paying good in Florida, but you got people actually want you to take $1.10 to go into Miami, right? That's what I was going to suggest, asking around locally and try finding loads close to home. Well, I've been running close to home, but the problem is that it's so cutthroat that the brokers that have my steady freight keep changing. There's a load that a major brokerage that I do all the time, we even have it on the bid it now thing, and I saw another brokerage with it today asking for 40% less than what I normally do it for. 40%. I can understand 20 in a down market, but not 40. And it's not even like has nothing to do with the product is ingredients for food. So it's not like it's affected by this thing that's going on. Cigarettes are illegal in Minnesota? That's weird. Why am I in the gutter? It was a ref. The whole industry's in the gutter right now. We will show it on Monday. What are you going to show, Jeff? The ELD? Reading comments, guys. I've put that Rid septic treatment in mine for years. It's a 1994 original L. It does get used for a week or two sometimes, though, the last 10 years. Is John Armstrong in here? Yeah, oh yeah. I said hey to you, John. My memory sucks these days, guys. My wife and I were just joking about that earlier. Anyone uploaded the cheap freight screenshot, Jeff? Oh yeah, you are so right, Thomas. It's not that I have a daughter sport. Okay, Salty Thomas. Call them your tits, guys. Don't argue on my channel. Here. On a regular day, we might be able to garner the the public sympathy, but people already think that we make too much money. People already think that we're high on the hog. I mean, proof of that is, why does everybody want to be an owner operator? And why does everybody approach us at the truck stops, ask for gas money, things of that nature? Go to Matt's one year, and you will see a bunch of people trying to take a piece of your pie, right? So I think it would be difficult at a time when people are hurting, people are broke, people haven't worked in 6 weeks. I read a Facebook post of a friend of mine who used to play drums for me, he said if it wasn't for his girlfriend, he'd be homeless right now because he's been out of work for 8 weeks. And I'm not going to open that one yet. And so I think it's going to be difficult to get the public opinion on our side. We've got their sympathy on still running. There's a family in Mount Vernon, Missouri, they'd rallied up a bunch of people from town, and they were giving truckers free food and little care packages, sanitizer, all kinds of stuff. They don't control the brokers. So I think that, send screenshots to your senators. A lot of these people griping about OOIDA. Has anybody called OOIDA? Get these petitions for OOIDA to get their act together, if that's how you feel. But I highly disagree with regulated minimum rates. Highly disagree with that. And we're over-regulated to a point, and brokers have been regulated, but they find loopholes, like co-brokering instead of double brokering, right? And if my costs are $1.10 a mile to run, and I get a load that pays $3 a mile, am I not taking more than 40, 50, 60%? Would I want the government telling me that I can't take a load more than $2.25 a mile? Absolutely not. And that's what you ask for when you ask for a minimum rate. Now, in the private sector, like retail or whatever, you have the big CEOs that make millions upon millions, so they don't have a single error, but they do have a minimum wage. But if society knows that everybody's making $15 an hour in an area, what goes up? Rent, food, everything. And look at the places like California, Washington, Hawaii. They have the biggest amount of homeless people because they simply can't afford rent. It's cheaper to go, if you lived in California, it's cheaper to buy a camper and find a parking lot and live in that thing than it is to find an apartment or a house. Same thing with Manhattan. That's what trying to create a standard minimum wage creates. And then you get less raises. And when I once read a report that when Obama extended the whole unemployment, people were staying on unemployment because it paid better than this guy who was paying minimum wage. So there's an imbalance, and that's what needs to be solved. Trucking's a pendulum, right? We have our good times, bad times for the brokers, then we have our bad times for us, good time for the brokers. And it seems like the pendulum's swinging this way, and now it's like that. One load. And at this point, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I'm not seeing it yet, but at the same time, is that light the train that's coming in, right? The general public is struggling too, not to mention they're not going to understand that running for a buck a mile isn't enough to survive. Well, that's the problem. For some people it is, and for most people it's not. At the same time, what's a broker's cost? Eddie, it depends on the broker. They have overhead, they have insurance. Jeff will tell you the insurance to bond your brokerage is pretty dang high. And then you got employees, and then you've got computer programs. There's a service that you have to subscribe to that Jeff pays a lot of money for his brokerage. They have overhead too. Guys, I'm not defending brokers at all. But getting sympathy from the public about brokers isn't going to help us. Because there's a lot of people that run their trucking business without using them. They might even perceive a buck a mile as wonderful, and boy, would I love to make $1 a mile, not understanding what it costs to operate a truck. Exactly. Reading comments here. That's where I'm at. So basically, I'm just using this time I've been off. Like I said, I didn't really park it. I'm not like, I'm parking this truck. I'm not doing that. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that. At the same time, we're being really cautious about how we come out next week. And it's Friday or Saturday evening, and I haven't booked my Monday load, so you know what that means. That city's in our favor a little bit, at least a little bit more, right? Mashing brokers is not the answer either. I agree, Chucky. I agree. I know a waitress still working, getting unemployment plus 600. She's taking home 7 or more than normal. If the broker has customers that only give access to their freight through EDI, it's $1,500 per customer per setup plus a few bucks for every load booked through EDI. And that's the thing. We've got a lot of brokerages that are laying off. The CEOs of C.H. Robinson have taken a pay cut. TQL's laid off like 500 people. A lot of these brokerages are realizing that we can do this stuff with these guys at home, so they might cut their costs with buildings. Now, here's the other thing. So, let's say I apply for the triple P loan, the payment protection plan. Or better yet, let's do this. Let's say I call my bank and say, hey, you know what? I'm struggling here. Can I get 3 months deferred payments on my truck and trailer? And I get my insurance decreased because I changed the payoff on it, which I need to do that anyways. Now, with no truck and trailer payment, I can run a 90-cent mile load and make money. You don't think the brokers know that? You don't think the shippers know that? And they assume that if anybody's still out here, the lowest costs, or have the highest cost, and they absolutely have no choice but to run all willy-nilly, are going to run freight because they have to, right? And I'm pretty sure that there's some people going, man, I can't believe they're rolling for this. There's some brokers saying that. DI, that's $30,000 for those setup fees. There you go, Jeff. See, so Jeff sees both sides. And it's created for the future a great opportunity here at Life Trucking. But I believe I need to be better about the least amount possible. And I mean, think about it. Isn't that why we came out to the spot market? Because, I loved Schneider. I really did. And I'd be very, very, very tempted to go back. Sell my trailer, call it a day. Go back to Schneider, right? But while you can have relationships with the customers at Schneider, you are out of control on what Schneider books it for and whether Schneider keeps the contract or not. Let's say that you're really good at servicing a certain customer, but yet the two other ICs weren't. And so therefore you lose that account anyways. That actually happened to me. I even called Schneider saying, hey, we're dropping the ball on this. They didn't care. And that just gave me an idea. Interesting. Okay. So if I'm home next week, I think I'm going to make some rounds. And I came out here for opportunity to have my own trailer and to create a situation where I may not even have to rely on lowboards. I know several people around here have done it. And I kind of forgot that. I kind of lost my way. So again, it goes back to what I've been telling you guys. Use this as an opportunity to figure out what your weaknesses are and create strengths, right? Big Rig Radio Network. If a broker uses DAT for their software, it's $1,000 a month fee from DAT. Talking about Georgia. Track Supply, for example. That's 100% true, right? Get some customers and be an agent. Exactly, Jeff. I would love to do that. Extra income source, right? And that's how you survive in this world. Get several streams of income. I have several streams of income, which has helped me survive. I've got friends that have several streams of income. They're surviving, and a couple of them are even thriving. Low boards are where the fun is. You want to do the same thing every day, stay company. Well, it's not doing the same thing, James. It's like, for example, there was a broker that had steady freight out of a certain plant here in Springfield that went up to like plant to plant. It was different, like 10 different points in Michigan. And they wanted carriers to bid on the lanes. And then what you did is you had first dibs before it hit the low boards if they liked your pricing. And I believe I priced myself out of that opportunity. And that was the first broker that I had a really good relationship with the first year I was out here in the spot market. Jeff knows who I'm talking about. So that's not really the same. But then it would be all these different points in Michigan. Same thing with when I was at Landstar. I loved shopping cart loads. It came from the same shipper there in Wagner, Oklahoma. And I went to everywhere. I went to Denver. I went to Phoenix. I went to Florida. I went to Georgia with shopping carts. I love that job, and the people that in receiving, when you showed up with shopping carts, they absolutely despised you, and I actually kind of got excited a little bit by giving them the disappointment that they just have 200 shopping carts that are coming to them that they didn't plan for. So that was different. So that's a perfect example. And it was one agent at Landstar that had all those, and Wagner's not too far from here, and so that's a perfect example of something that I could do. And then use spot to come back. I tell people to join the Air Force or the Coast Guard, do 20 years, get a pension, lifetime health insurance, then go trucking. That's what I did. It's a good way to do it, John. I agree. I'm still sticking to my plan, but the market has me doing more research. But so basically, in the mornings, I've been trying to get a quiet moment to myself and just trying to contemplate, how can I get stronger from this? How can I improve from this? And we'll see what happens. Provost, were you talking about Pale Rider? Insane Clown Posse canceled all event for the year. You know what? Insane Clown Posse are geniuses. Because it's literally two guys rapping to a CD. And they live happily because of that. You would think being a musician, I would hate that. In a way, I kind of do, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Get it all over yourself. Whatever floats your boat, right? Let's talk this week on possibilities. Okay, Jeff, we will. By the way, Jeff, you called me earlier Friday. I think it was shortly after your live feed, your last live feed, and I was on the phone with a friend, and then I called you back. So I hope it wasn't important. Yeah, there's way worse diseases flying around an ICP concert. I think I watched a bit of a documentary about what is it, the gathering of juggalos or whatever, whatever the hell, right? How long can someone be sitting hoping better rates? Well, it just depends on how much money you've saved up there, Ahmed. Um, like I said, I had to take care of a few things this week. We'll see what next one brings. I'm catching up on a few things because when it's time to run, it'll be time to run. I'll be staying out. Oh, you might even see me going out west. Depends on how much make you got. There you go. Thomas Wilson. Yep, I agree. If I ever get into the trucking business, all I'm going to do is put money in the savings account while I can. It's a catch-22, says Jeff. What's a catch-22? It all depends on how you look at sitting. If I sit, I lose X amount of dollars per day with nothing coming in. If I run, I still lose X amount of days coming in, or I still lose X amount of days every day. But then, if I run at a loss, and it's like you go out of business slower, I think. At this point, I'd be happy with just a decent rate and some consistency. But with the brokers cutting each other's throats, that's hard to get. You know, I look at the DAT board around Springfield, and I see my same loads I take all the time being put up by different brokers, different rates, different detention policies, and different times. You know, and a lot of these times are just stupid. You know, like these loads that Uber and Convoy try to string together. It's like, no, these times suck. They're either not doable or barely doable, or you're going to have to unplug your ELD to make them. And I ain't doing any of that. Oh, but we put an extra $20 on it, so come on, make it worth it. You know, an extra $20, you can run 700 miles in a day, can't you? Or you pick up at 11 o'clock at night, deliver at 10 a.m. You got to go straight through because it's 500 miles. And then you lose all of your next day. So what looks like a 2-day run on paper is actually a 3-day run. And then the race just ain't paying that. Pale Rider. That's funny. Them high octane IPAs are dangerous. Drink 6-pack here. I can't do IPA, John. I can't do that. Did you file for your 10K loan from Uncle Sam? I did that a while back, Thomas. I haven't heard anything. The email that I thought I got, I looked at it again today, and it was basically, hey, get the LDL. We don't know when they'll get that. And so go for this triple P loan. It was from the bank, not Actually, it wasn't even from my bank. It was from a general bank. So it might have been a phishing scam. So I don't know if I'm going to get anything or not. Now, I did not apply for the triple P loan. I did not apply for that. Because I'm hearing some crazy stuff in the fine print on that. Pale Rider says his 700-mile days are over. Absolutely. Jeff's heard nothing either. I think the most that I can do at this point is defer my payments. But I'm not even doing that unless I absolutely have to. Because I'm so close into paying the truck off. That's the thing. I am this close. If we can get 15,000 in the super chat, I can pay off the truck today. So, spend. A friend of mine wanted to send me some money for something, so I went ahead and started. It's $Snorelord. That's it. That's all it is. Pretty easy. So, no, I can't beg for money. I can't do that. We're okay, guys. We're okay. And the reference is a song title, "Hello from the Gutter," because rates are in the gutter, trucking's kind of in the gutter, my positivity's in the gutter. Oh, Thomas, don't do that. Thomas Wilson, thank you very much. You're such a good brother. Hello.
Hi. Can I hang out with you? I'll
Sure.
stay off camera.
Really?
It's 100 degrees in there for turn-up conditions.
You guys want to meet Mrs. Snorelord?
No. I don't want to mess around with that junk.
No. Thomas Wilson, thank you very much. I'm going to have to take a trip to Georgia and we'll have a steak. I'll put you on camera.
Stop it.
Only 14,900 to go. Thomas, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'm gonna have to send you a thank you card.
Hi, Pale Rider.
Yep, a few people has met my wife. She was with me when we went to GBATs twice. She got to meet Tex Crowley. She got to meet Pale Rider.
Recon Trucker?
Recon Trucker.
Okay, I don't remember that one. Sorry.
I think Mike was there. Bob, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's hot because I just got done standing over a sink full of dishes.
My wife made a killer meal tonight. I'm not just saying that. She made a keto-friendly lasagna. Now, people have asked me, "Hey, Steve, you still doing the keto thing?" Absolutely. And I've had a couple of strays here and there. I think we had Chinese last week. We actually ate an egg roll and some rice, But my cheats aren't like a whole Cinnabon or package of donuts or anything like that. My cheats are like rice and some potatoes or an piece of chicken or something like that. But she made a keto-friendly lasagna that's you use zucchini instead of noodles. The cheese, and you use the sugar-free sauce. Everything else is keto-friendly.
I make my sauce.
Yeah, she makes her sauce.
I just don't add the sugar that it's supposed to have.
When the states get back open, the DOT will have a field day putting a lot of trucks out of service for not being able to keep them fixed. That is true, Jeff. And here's a bit, Jeff. See if you agree with me. Go with the states. Stay in the states that are opening first. In Missouri, our stay-at-home order is lifted on the 4th of May. And at the 4th of May, non-essential businesses can handle business in a limited capacity. In other words, you want to go to your local record store, you can. They just got to bring it out to you, or you can only have a certain amount of people in the store, stuff like that. And I would stay in those states to begin with. She didn't have that. Hey Jeff, here's the cat that we have that looks like yours. There you go. This cat is like, what the hell, dude? Woodchuck Trucking, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll have this truck paid off in no time.
Food Mooch, there's plenty of leftovers.
Yeah, Food Mooch, get in that car and come over and you can have some lasagna. But she also made regular lasagna for the kids because they don't like zucchini.
You don't get all the moisture out. It's really runny, but it's good.
Illinois will never open. Minnesota, Michigan may never open. Another reason never to go to Michigan. You know how them Michigan people are. Nevada has no idea when they're going to open, and our governor is an idiot. Yeah, Jeff's got a point. We're not going to turn this into a political discussion, but the blue states tend to be a little bit more stricter on their rules, and they're trying to. They're the ones that seem to have the most strict regulations. John Lee, I appreciate that. Oh, cat, don't. It's trying to knock over the camera.
She likes it better from the back.
Damn cat. This cat is normally not affectionate, but hey, you're going live. I'm going to rub against the camera and the tripod and the whole 9 yards. How much to pay off my truck? 15 grand. I think. Let me do some math here. Math is hard. How many months we got left before February? So April's paid, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November, January, February. 9 months. Times 9. 14,269. I imagine the payoff's a little bit less than that. But I think the way the loan's structured, I've already paid the interest. Now we're just paying off the principal. Everyone uses Cash App Snorelord so YouTube doesn't take 30%. Hey now, it's not Michigan people, it's just the ones who have the power right now. Chucky needs to be in Missouri and he needs to come to the Ozarks. By the way, you know what? I finally finished Ozark on Netflix. Anybody who's watching Ozark, it's kind of a brutal place, ain't it? I remember we were hosting a gig up at the Lake of the Ozarks, and we were having some friends come in from Arkansas, middle of nowhere in the Lake of the Ozarks, and they got on the phone and were like, "What kind of backwoods Jeffrey Dahmer stuff are you taking us to?" It ended up being a fun gig for them. Things have to get turned around pretty soon. November 8th, getting close in the windshield. Yeah. To Nevada, folks, trust me. I love Ozark. You know, and I love the Ozarks in general, really. I really do. When I first moved here, I hated it, despised it. GNC, Chucky, I know how to do that. You guys come down to Missouri. We'll give you a little tour, and you're going to love it. And as long as you stay out of Springfield, you'll be all right. Springfield's a little bit rough. There's still parts of it that are really good, but you don't want to live with all them pretentious, uppity, I'm better than you people up there in the south side.
Yeah, house is too expensive right there.
You're going to pay $500,000 for a house that's not worth it. What else you guys want to talk about? I still got this beer and one more beer left. Donald, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You are awesome. You are awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Oh, I lost my feed here. Don, thank you. We are planning to come in the fall. Oh, that'd be perfect. Chucky, all I got to do is bring you through Branson and look at all the scenery and then show you about where we got our property and stuff, and you'll love it. Hell, we could be neighbors, right? That was Cash App, Jeff. I appreciate you putting that out there. I appreciate that. It's a way to like if you want to send somebody money, they have to have the app and you have to have the app, and the app can be tied into your bank account, and then you can acquire, use that cash. You can also use it for like a debit card of theirs. Kind of like it's kind of like PayPal, but it's I mean, PayPal has an app too, but some people say my PayPal is not quite working, which I know it's working because a lot of the endorsement I get from Fogline software goes directly to PayPal, and that's how I pay my Spotify and Netflix, is through that. And but Cash App is more of a direct thing. Bob G, going through Branson in the fall is just excellent. My favorite around September, October, between Fort Smith up I-49, 65, US 65, all the way up north to Springfield, and then when you go around the Lake of the Ozarks, that's up US 54. So US 54, 13, Missouri 13, I-49, I-44 is beautiful drive, beautiful drive. Eddie, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Take the boss to lunch. So you get lunch, honey.
Yay! We were talking about that tomorrow anyhow.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eddie. I appreciate that.
Look at that cat now. She's all crazy-eyed.
What the hell's
you doing, weirdo? Hi, baby.
This cat is weird. This cat hates us until now. What are you doing in my world on the outside? Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you, every single one of you. And send me an email at Doomytunestransport@gmail.com, and bounce some ideas of what I could do to better my situation, as far as relying on the spot market too much, or tell me what your secret is. If you're doing very well in this market, tell me what you're doing. I don't need to hear your secrets, but strategies would be nice. I've got friends that are doing very well, and they ain't telling me their brokers' names at all, which I don't blame them. I'm not asking for that. You got Venmo? Metallica or Megadeth? This is going to annoy some people, but Metallica. James Hetfield's always been a huge influence on me. And while I'm not a fan of, like, some songs off of Load are okay, but I'm not a big fan of Reload. But I do like what they did from Death Magnetic on. I have liked that. And as a vocalist slash guitarist, you know, having to do both at the same time, James Hetfield was a huge influence, and mainly for his sound. While Megadeth is more technical, faster, and they kind of kept their roots a little bit longer, Dave Mustaine's voice I have an issue with. I mean, but I love Megadeth. My favorite Megadeth album is Peace Sells, and then Rust in Peace is pretty good. And I got to see them on the Rust in Peace tour, so that's been one of the highlights of my metal world. Bob G was in Branson. Loved it. No, you can buy alcohol in Branson. Eddie, thanks for the Jamie B says Peace Sells. Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, I know who that is too. Hi, Jamie.
The song "Wake Up Dead." I mean, that's just a song, right? That's just an angry. I mean, back when the thrash metal world was new to me, that was such a shocking video. You had all these angry metalheads around this cage, and you know, Megadeth's playing in this cage, you know, and I always enjoyed that. But the song "Peace Sells," I mean, it had a statement. You know, as a young angst teenager, I was like, that's a statement. This is the news. You know. If you haven't done it, go watch the video for Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? Your wife, that's important. I appreciate the super chat. There's the cat right there. Hey Jeff, is that your cat? Check it out. You're famous, kitty. What the hell are you doing?
That window is partly open, maybe. It's not me, I think.
You want it in?
It shouldn't be locked.
No, just get a hold of it. There you go. There. Good. Do I have to do everything for you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Do.
No.
Goodbye, cat.
Here in Missouri, we let our cats in the window. In the window.
When we used to have that walnut tree, we used to have a walnut tree that grew right outside the main window to our bedroom, and her brother, our yeller cat, he would go in and out through that window if I would let him.
You want to break in my house? Just go through this window here, like the cat does. Like the cat. Hey, James, you gonna go live tonight? I missed your live feed last night. I was in there for a second. Looks like Jeff's cat if it weighed 75 pounds more. Yeah, Jeff's cat's pretty big. Jeff's got like 15 cats or something. How many cats do you have, Jeff? James Best is going live next. Nothing to talk about. James Best, you know that's not true. You got plenty to talk about. Plenty. More than I do. Jeff is a cat lady, says John Armstrong. I love Mustaine, but Hetfield is good. Just had to throw that out there, says Woodchuck. All right, Woodchuck, if you know your thrash, are you familiar with the second generation? Like Death Angel? Well, people consider Exodus second generation, but actually they were in the beginning as well. They're never included in the four, the big four. But the second wave of thrash bands like Testament, Death Angel, Exodus, Law's Rocket, Violence. I know there's probably some that I'm missing. They were in Forbidden. Forbidden was awesome. I love Forbidden. That whole Bay Area was just so awesome with the metal that came out. It was like a perfect storm for me because that came at a time where I was really just starting to discover heavy music. Jeff has 3 cats, 0 mice. Overtaxed Minnesota, Dave. At one point, we had 3 cats, and we still had mice because they're idiots, right? They weren't very good hunters. Hammett came from Exodus. And the singer of Exodus used to be in Testament. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Chuck Billy, his other job besides being the singer of Testament, he's actually a dispatcher for a trucking company. The big four: Poison, Cinderella, Europe, and Skid Row. James. Yeah, James, that's the big four for you. There you go. Not sure why you throw Europe. I like Cinderella. And Skid Row, I like the first album. Poison, I did own Open Up and Say Ah. I'm a little ashamed of that. Tesla, Bob G, I love Tesla. The first Tesla album. Modern Day Cowboy and what's the other song? Hang Tough. That's a great song. That's a good Dad Leopard. Def Leppard. Hysteria is overblown. There's like 2 good songs on Hysteria. And thank God to old classic radio. I never have to own a Def Leppard album ever. And it was interesting though, in the back in the old days, truck stops, they had that one cassette display in the corner, and Def Leppard all through the night was always on there. Didn't Tesla do a Celtic Frost song? I don't remember that. What's the gutter talk here? Spectre, the title is from an Overkill album called Hello from the Gutter. And we're just talking about the state of affairs right now and how it's all kind of in the gutter. That's all, Spectre. That's all we're saying. We're just enjoying a beer. I got Mrs. Snorelord right here next to me, who's very shy, so she's off camera. And you missed the star performance of our cat. So. Don't be ashamed of that album. It's worth money if uncensored cover. I believe the cassette I had was the censored cover. But I know what you're talking about. Big Four: Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slayer. Yeah. Pantera was like the third wave. They kind of turned into a thrash band with Cowboys from Hell. And they came in right around the time that Big Four was starting to sell out a little bit. Metallica had the Black Album. Megadeth was still going strong. Slayer's never faltered. And Anthrax had come up with Sound the White Noise, which interesting was written with their old singer, and you can almost hear his harmonies in that. But that was when they got John Bush, and that's when they were trying the whole Metallica thing with Electro Records and stuff. And so their popularity waned because I actually like that album. And I got to see them with John Bush, and he's a good dude, man. I like his vocals. Um, but current stuff that Anthrax is putting out now. You sold all your vinyl, Air Vaquero? Speaking of Spectre, Spectre's had a couple of good videos here. Look on people's icons now. Go to the channel. But check him out. You can find him. He's put up a couple of good videos. And he's trying to bring awareness to the plight that we are all kind of suffering here in the spot market. And in the trucking industry in general. It's not just the spot market. There's a lot of drivers getting out of work right now because they're not making miles or they're not making money. And if you're a predatory lease company, that some of these places are, you're hurting really bad right now. You know, when you make your trucks, and there's a lot of third-party leasing companies that are going to go by the wayside because of this reset button that the government seemed to impose on the whole entire world. Rockville and Jacksonville, Florida used to be pretty epic with all those bands. Yeah, I've heard about that place. Jason's finally in the chat. It's about time. But how long we been live? An hour 20? Yeah, the special place now for predatory leasing. 79 minutes. Well, if you guys got nothing else to talk about, we'll end this live feed. Let James Best goes live. Go live, I should say. Sorry, man. Enchiladas. It was Slaughter did Celtic Cross. Okay. Bob G, I appreciate that, sir. Predatory release companies are as bad as fading in low places. Right. You know, and what do I mean by predatory lease companies? What they do is they take a guy who's got, you know, they promise a guy who wants to be a business owner, and they can take a guy with a, you know, 550, 600 credit score and give him a brand spanking new truck with hardly a credit check. And they're going to charge you by the week, and you're going to pay out the yin-yang for it. And you're going to have to, you become a slave to that truck. You have no choice but to run, regardless what the rates are doing, regardless what your miles, regardless where you want to go. You have almost no control over your business. Please, you got a truck that's absolutely worthless. And you're sitting there trying to sell the truck for, you know, you trade it in, right? Or if you do keep it, you're having to put like another 60 grand in it in repairs and rebuilds and stuff like that. So you basically are a slave to the truck. And yes, you get the truck at the end of the 5 year, but what's it worth? Right? It's worth maybe a $10,000 trade-in on something else, and you start the whole process over again. To never own it. Some leases are set up to never own it, Johnson. You know, I do know a few Schneider Finance guys that have purchased their trucks, completed the lease, and they got a decent truck out of the deal. But you got to really have your act together to do that. You really have to be tight with your money. You really have to be sensible, and know that you're going to sacrifice quite a bit for that truck. And there are some leasing companies that want to attract you with all the bling. Like, take a look at those hurricane trucks. They put all this chrome on there. They give you free satellite and fridge and all the things that you need. You got all this chrome, all this bling, but then they only give you one fuel tank. There's a problem there. If you'd rather put 400 pounds of chrome on a truck than keep a second fuel tank, what's that tell you? That they want you to do nothing but heavy loads and oh, hey, yeah, forget the fact that you got one tank, but check out this visor you got. Check out these ding you for because they never work, Don't be distracted by the bling. Don't be distracted by you're getting a brand new truck, because new trucks can have just as many problems as an old truck. High-cost operators are in big trouble. Keep the wheels turning and wait for the weak and highly levered operators to drop off. I guess it's like that with any business, right? So, anyways, guys, we're going to end this live feed. I got to pay attention to the boss here because, I love her and I'd rather spend my time with her. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate all the Cash App donations. I really do appreciate that. And either there's a gang war going on or that's fireworks. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we appreciate you. Let's hang. We'll get through this together, right? Those are pistol rounds, LOL. You never know. I'm ready if they are. So, all right, guys. See you later.